Everything clear for online team? Hello. Thank you. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, very good morning to all. Right. So far from last couple of session, we discussed about how to create the project and how to create the workspace, and in that how to create the applications. I'll give you a quick overview of like what we have discussed from the beginning of that Angular. So the first thing is going to be in an interview point of view. So how to create a Angular application. What is the command? Using CLI. How to create an Angular application using CLI? What is the command? ng new and then the name of the application. Very good. And the second question is going to be how to create a workspace and a project using CLI. How to create a workspace and project? Tell me. ng very good. New workspace and the name of the workspace that what we are following, and then very good hyphen no create application that has to be given, and the next step is going to be ng very good generate, and then the name of the application can be anything that what I can say. Application name has to be given it over there. And third question is going to be how to create a component manually. How to create the component manual? That means how to create a component manually. ng what is my question? How to create a component manually, or else let's say the first question is going to be what exactly the component, what is a component, and what we can write, okay, or else what we can have in a component, I can say. Tell me what is the definition of a component? A component is a right, very good. A component is a TypeScript class, okay, which consists of reusable user interface along with business logic. Along with the business logic. And what are the files it contains? What are the files it contains? Tell me, what are the files it contains? Tell me, it contains three files. One is going to be HTML and then CSS, and the third one is the TypeScript logics. That's it. This is what we have written inside the component, right? Am I writing anything else apart from these three? Obviously, no. We have written what? The HTML, CSS, and then following with we have the TypeScript logics. And the next question is going to be how to create. Otherwise, like this question is not like in a proper way. I'll do one thing. What are the different types of component? What are the different types of component, and explain. Now tell me, what are the different components we have learned? Very good. Two type. What are those two? One is inline. Another one is the code behind. Very good. Inline is one component and second one is going to be code behind is the another component that we are having. Now when I say about an inline component means what is inline component? When do we call it as inline? Right, very good. If we have HTML, CSS, and then we have the TypeScript logic, TS logic in one file, then that is what we call it as inline component. And if it is a code behind, and then right, if we have to write, or else if we write HTML, CSS, and then TypeScript logic in separate files. In separate files, if you can write, then that is going to be, okay, that is going to be the one that what we are having. And the next interview question is going to be, maybe here in component, how to access the component from one file to another. How to access it? Very good. By using what? Export statement, export and import statement. Okay. Without having that, we cannot do that one. And the next one is going to be the last question, maximum that what you can get it here is going to be how to convert a TypeScript class into a angular component, into an angular component. That what I can say, how to convert a TypeScript class into an angular component. How do we convert it? Using @component decorator. If we use @component decorator, then it will become a component. It will become an angular component. The last one, okay, I guess like maximum these question we will never get anything apart from that one. What metadata properties a component decorator is having? Babro garu వేణు ఉన్నారా పైన ఉన్నారా? సరే, ఇంకెవరైనా వస్తే ఎలా చేయకండి, పంపించేసాను, పర్లేదు. ఓకే, a component decorator is having generally like what metadata properties we are having? Very good. We will be having the select. I don't want to give any description anyhow. I shared in the notes as well. So you please go through that. And second one is going to be template we have seen. And third one is going to be styles that we have seen. And the next one is going to be template URL is available And the last one is going to be style. URLs is available. Additionally, we have another one, that is the providers are available, but still we are not discussed it because providers are used at service level. We haven't discussed anything about the services. That is the reason I haven't included this, but still we have another metadata property, that is what we call it as providers, that what we are having. Maximum, these are the interview questions that you will be getting on the chapter, that is like, the component. Now we will be understanding how do we work with the next concept, that is what we call it as a data binding. What is mean by data binding? Tell me, what is your understanding? Generally, what is your understanding? Just first let me know. What is mean by data binding? Simple. Binding the data to the HTML, right? And from the HTML, whatever the data user has given, we can get the data and then use it in our logic. That is what all about. Because let's say, if I write like all the TypeScript logic, and if I'm executed my application, will it be helpful for that end user? Will it be helpful? Tell me. Obviously no, because without using the HTML, how an end user will communicate? Because end of the day, whatever the logic you people have implemented, that logic should be what? Rendered on the HTML. And if it is rendered on the HTML, then only the browser is able to understand. Otherwise, TypeScript or JavaScript, CSS browser cannot understand anything. It understands only the HTML, so that whatever the TypeScript logic you people have written, that logic should be attached to the HTML, then only end user will interact. And some cases, we need to take an input from the user also. Let's take a registration or login forms you can take. What we are doing in that, once you open the login form, we interacted with the form and giving that input or not. Enter username. They provided a text box for us, and we have to enter the name in that. And second one, we are having what? The second one is going to be what we are having. Maybe the password, enter password is available. They'll ask the question and we enter in it over there. That means sometimes we can take that input, sometimes we display that output, but end of the day, we should understand how to share the data from component to the HTML and HTML to the component. All together we call it as data binding. Okay, data binding means what? It is a technique. It is a technique which is used to bind the data from the component to HTML, component to HTML, and vice versa. Vice versa is nothing but like exactly opposite. Understand? That means we will be having what? Component to HTML, and then following with HTML to the component also. That is what we call it as a data binding that we are having. That is what we call it as data binding. Okay, guys, please be here by 9:05. If not, join online. I told you the day one, if you have any priority works, don't come for the sessions. Okay. I don't like this, like, coming till 9:15, 9:20, 9:30. That disturb me a lot. That is where, like, if you are really having some priority work, then don't join and don't come. If you feel that, like, coming daily to the class is boring, then attend online. You just check with the Venu. He will provide you the link. You can attend from that. But those who wants to join offline, please be here by 9:05 is the maximum. Okay, right. Now, what is data binding? It is a technique which is used to bind the data from component to the HTML, and vice versa is nothing but HTML to the component that we are having. Now here, whenever if you wanted to do the data binding, Angular provides, we have two ways. We have two ways of data binding. One is what we call it as one-way data binding. Okay, one-way data binding. Another one is going to be, we have two-way data binding is available. What is the first one? One-way data binding. Another one is going to be two-way data binding, that what we are having it over there. Now, what is the difference between these two? One-way data binding is something like we are going to share the data either from component to the HTML or else from the HTML to the component, that what I can say. Either you can share the data from component to the HTML, that is one direction. That is what we practiced yesterday. I used a string interpolation, right? In component, I created the property where like I created an employee ID, employee name, something like that. And then I'm sharing the data to my HTML by using the interpolation syntax or not. That is what we call it as one-way data binding. That means the data flow in one direction, that is the one-way data binding. And the second one is the two-way data binding. It is the combination of both together. That means whenever if I'm updating my component, then that value is getting automatically updated in the HTML. Or else whenever if I updated my HTML, then components value is also getting updated. So if you can have those two together, that is what we call it as two-way data binding. In one-way data binding, it's all about one way. It's a single directional. And if it is two-way data binding, it is bidirectional. Okay, one place if you can update, that will be impacted on another place. If you can update it in another side, that will be impacted in some other side as well. So like that, we will be having two different type of data binding mechanisms are available. And these data binding mechanism practically or programmatically how we can implement. For that reason, the first one is going to be component to the HTML, right? So to do this one, Angular provide a mechanism, that is what we call it a string interpolation. String interpolation is nothing but we will be writing with the help of what? Double curly brackets. It is a syntax. Why, Shrikant, it is two curly bracket means that question we have to ask what? Google team. Because it was not created by me. It was created by the Google. They provided for me. I am explaining to you. You have to use it in your project. That's it. Why they have created like that means I don't have an answer for that. Because that is the syntax. Because someone asked me that question yesterday. Why not like one? Why we have to? How to create a class generally? Class name, right? No, Shrikant, if I'm writing class name and then later class means what will happen? We'll get an error. That means we should follow the syntax because we haven't created our own framework. If you created your own, you can give one also or you can give four also. But we are not creating any framework. Rather, we are using the framework and then developing that application so that whatever they provided, we should follow. Okay, that is the syntax. Why they have created means I don't have an answer for that. And second one is going to be we have attribute or property binding is available. Attribute or property binding is available, and we are going to implement that with the help of what? Square bracket. Okay, array. Okay, fine. That is array only because we are programmers, right? Okay, attribute or what? Property binding that can be implemented with the help of this syntax. And we have like, template, that is the HTML. Sometimes I can say template means, template, sometimes it is HTML. Both are same. Don't think differently. HTML is a template only. Okay. The name is template, that what we are calling technically. So just now I have some data in my template. Generally, how to enter the data in the template? How to enter the data in the template? How to enter the data? By using text boxes or input elements only, right? What is that input elements will do? Which is used to take an input. You know the forms, right? In HTML. Don't say don't know. Okay, we have the forms are available. If you don't know, learn it. Okay, it's hardly like 1 minute job. It's hardly like 1 minute. By seeing that, we can understand. If we can spend like, more 20 minutes, you can understand what tags are available. Additional 20 minutes, what attributes we are having. And additional 20 minutes, you can build your own registration form also. That means total 1 hour is more than enough to understand the form. Because nowadays in CBSE syllabus, 6th class, we have the web technologies. 6th class, we completed graduation. Now, if you still like, waiting for someone to explain about the form, then better to start from the nursery. Okay, because HTML is very simple language, even everyone can understand. I really surprised, like, my sister's daughter, she's explained me about like, the forms concept. Few days back, like we had a call, like she was there in USA and she was around like, 5th class, I guess 5th or 4th. She explained me, Mama, I learned about HTML. She feel proud that like, because she's getting an output in the browser, right? She feel that, okay, I'm developing something big. But now you can think yourself. Every innovative technology comes like, from the child brain, not from our brain. Still, we have many kids here. So use your brains. Okay. Many inventions. This is not wrong. You can Google it. Many inventions are introduced by the people who are having below like, 20 years. Many inventions. You can check it also. Right. Now here, from the template to the component, whenever if you wanted to share the data, we use what? Event binding. We use what? Event binding. And event binding can be implemented with the help of parenthesis. Okay. Interpolation is going to be 2 curly bracket, and attribute or property binding is going to be 2 square bracket, 1 only. And then event binding, and here we have the two-way data binding, and in order to implement that, Angular provides a directive, that is what we call it as a ng model. And this ng model we are supposed to use with the combination of these two things. That means we use that attribute binding and followed with the event binding, and there we will be writing an ng model over there. Okay, by following with this one. Like that, we are having different data bindings are available based on your requirement. You can use. You can choose like whatever it is apt for you. You can choose that and you can make use of it. That's it. But here, when it comes to the two-way data binding with the help of ng model, I'll explain you a different concept. That is what we call it as MVC and MVVM. We have two approaches are available. MVC stands for model view and controller, and MVVM stands for model view and view model. There are two approaches that we are having. I'll explain you about that later. First, we will concentrate more on what? The one-way data binding only. How we are going to use interpolation and then attribute binding, and then we'll go for the event binding mechanism. Clear na? Right, very good. And then I'm going to introduce a new one, that means integrating bootstrap, or else integrating Bootstrap to an Angular application. So how do we integrate the Bootstrap to an Angular application? How do we integrate? As I told you, everything, every third party packaging, what you people are expecting, sir, that MVC and MVVM are, design patterns. Those are design patterns. I hope like Java people know about Spring Boot. Spring Boot, it is MVC only, right? Spring MVC, Struts MVC, ASP.NET MVC, same like that. It's just like, it's a design pattern, and that will play a major role in our real-time application development. I will show you that. We are not going to learn like the whole MVC, but that is also the part of Angular development while doing the data binding. I'll explain you that part. Right. One request from the admin is, the guys like who log in from the through online, just please enter your names. Even for me also, if I wanted to ask any question, I can't call 384729, right? And we have like, these names are not good. So log in with your proper name. That is always good. I don't know the reason, but just log in with that name, proper name. Right. Now the thing is, here we wanted to integrate what? The Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a third-party library. The official website is going to be getbootstrap.com is that official website. From there you can get, or from there you can download the file and then you can integrate. That is one option. But I told you, whenever we install the Node.js, NPM is also the part of it, right? Now what an NPM will contain? All the client-side packages, and Bootstrap is also a client-side library which will be used to designs. Without using the Bootstrap and with using the Bootstrap, we have a lot of difference with respect to the app development. That is the reason I'll go with the Bootstrap only, where it gives you more comfortability. Without using CSS, we can go for the good designs. And even in real time and practical environment, Bootstrap is one of the most popular framework or library that we are using for the design purpose. So that is the reason I'll integrate it by getting it from, what? NPM. So you see, when I type npmjs.com is that official website. From here, I'll be using what? Let's say Bootstrap. When I use the Bootstrap, now you see we have the commands are available. Anyhow, here we have the command above. NPM I stands for install. What I wanted to install? Bootstrap I wanted to install. So that if you can go to there, you can. And this is how the folder structure, and it download the many packages for us. They are all the packages. If you wanted to go to that official website, same thing. You see npm I bootstrap @5.3.0 is the version, the latest version. And someone asked me, Srikanth, how many days it will take to learn. That's all depend on you. It doesn't matter that learn everything, because Bootstrap is having around 20,000 plus classes are available. Is it possible to learn everything? No. For me, it is not possible. I agree. For you, I don't know. Okay, it is not at all possible to learn everything, but only one thing is going to be, there are a couple of concepts are going to be which we are using very frequently that you can use in real time. Then how they are developing means, suppose I wanted to build a simple Bootstrap form, then I'll be using Bootstrap form. If you can go, we have The inbuilt designs are available. We copy paste the designs. That's it. Everyone is doing like that only. Okay. Because like as a human, how I can remember? Because I am not a robot, right? I don't have a memory chip where like, I can keep everything. I remember like few of the classes, and remaining, it's all about like, we copy and paste it. Let's say form related, what classes we are having. If you can have the basic understanding, that is fine. Because if you wanted to become a UI developer, you're supposed to stretch something more. But if you wanted to become a full stack developer with respect to Java or .NET, then no need to learn like, whole. Just like, how to do the copy paste, that skills I'll give you. Don't worry. Because I don't have much patience to build the UI by myself. I'll do the copy paste only. I'll show you and I'll give you that skill set to you. Don't worry. So generally, like, this is how, when I say about the Bootstrap will provide you a good, like, the design. That means it comes with some predefined classes, and we will be using those classes in our application development, or else let's say the template development, we use those classes. Now, how to integrate? We have a command that is npm install Bootstrap. Now I'm here, I'll be writing the command npm install. What we wanted to install? Bootstrap I wanted to install, and then click on OK. There you can see it is taking some time. Now it added 2 packages like that it is. And I wanted to install another package as well. npm install bootstrap hyphen icons, that what I'll be giving. Now what is Bootstrap icons will do is, if you open, let's say, any of your website, here you will be finding some designs, right? Some images. Are we able to see these images or not? Yes or no? These are what we call it as Bootstrap icons. That means sometimes in the button, suppose let's say you have a pagination 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that we have right arrow. After that we have left arrow. Like that we are having it or not? Yes or no? That means such kind of things if you wanted to include, then we will be using Bootstrap icons. If you want, you can see Bootstrap icons, that what I can give. And we have like a lot of icons are available. We have an official website for that, icons.bootstrap.com, where you can find all these are the icons. Circle, okay, O circle fill, and we are having, you see, airplane fills, airplane engine fills, airplane fill. That means airplane mode. In the mobile, you find all these, right? Yes or no? Generally, what you are clicking on it, you are clicking on a button. On the top of the button, you found these images, nothing apart from that. Okay, these are the icons. Generally, these are that icon. Shrikant, why they are not using that image? If they are using an image, then again it is required one more request to the server in order to download it, right? But if this is a class, what you can do is, it's very simple. Suppose I wanted to keep this arrow, then what I can do, simply I write this HTML code. Then it is not required to go there. Okay, like that it is going to be. You can see that all these are the Bootstrap icon, and according to my requirement, I just wanted to use a couple of icons. So that is the reason where I'm going to integrate this part as well. Okay, how to add? First one, npm install Bootstrap. Second one, npm install Bootstrap icon. Okay, I'm going to write that one. So Bootstrap is a front-end framework which is coming from CSS. Okay, Bootstrap is a front-end, otherwise CSS framework, which is used to design the web page with more graphically. Graphically means images. That means by using that images, we can do like, with good user interface. And to include the bootstrap, to include the bootstrap, we follow two rules or else two steps. Step number one is going to be install from the npm. So how to install? For that we will be using what? Npm install what we wanted to install. Bootstrap has to be given. Second one is going to be npm install, and we will be having bootstrap hyphen icons has to be given. So these are the two things that what I have given it over there. Okay, two things that what I have given. And then the next one is going to be after installation we are not getting it, because everything that you install that directly comes to the node modules folder. If you want, you can search. When I type something like bootstrap, am I able to see these two or not? Yes or no? That means we have like many things are available in the library, that is the node modules folder. We have lot of libraries which are provided, and whatever it is required we have to integrate. The predefined library is already included, but this is a third party library, right? I just have to use that in my program manually. How we can do that and where we can do that? I just wanted to add that in a file, that is what we call it as a styles.css. You can see there styles.css. That means in which project you wanted to have, that you can specify. Suppose in components demo I don't want to use because it was already done. You know how to create an inline component and code behind that. Examples are more than enough. But here I wanted to create what? The second project, that is data binding. In the data binding project I wanted to have that. So for that reason what I can do, I'll go to my styles.css, and in that you see you can add the global style to this file, and also we can add the import the other styles also. We can import the other styles also. That is also you can do. Understand? Srikanth, why only here? Why not in the component? Because component is also having CSS files, right? Yes or no? Component will contain how many files total? 3 files. What are those? HTML, CSS, and third one TypeScript. That means there also you can include. Why only in the styles.css means, as I told you, Angular is made up with the help of tree of component. That means we can have n number of components. We can have what? N number of component. If that is a case, how? Suppose I am including it in one. Again it required in another component. Second time I have to give it or not. Suppose I have like 10 component, 10 times I have to specify. If there is a new update comes in the bootstrap, again I need to log into all the 10 components and then do the modification. That is the problem. Maintenance is the problem. To overcome that, we have a file that is styles.css. There I can define it globally. One time I can specify, any number of times you can use. Suppose if the version is changed, one time I can do the modification, then that will be impacted in all the places. Maintenance would be very easy. That is the reason I used it in the styles.css. Now what I can do, I am going to get it. So how I can do that? Import URL, and where it is available, node module, right? Now we are in which folder? SRC folder, right? Now you see what I am doing. I am going 2 steps back, that is SRC folder. Again above that we have the project data binding folder. So 2 steps back again, data binding folder. On the top of it we have the node module, so that 2 steps back we have the node modules, right? Understood? Yes or no? Now in that we have the node modules folder. In that we have what? Bootstrap is available. In that we have the Bootstrap is available. In that I have a file that is which is available under the dist, and then we have CSS, and then I'm going to integrate the bootstrap.css. Understood? Now the same way I wanted to integrate what? Icons as well. So how I can do that? I'll be using same import statement one more time. Import and then 2 steps back for that SRC, 2 steps back for what? Data binding, 2 steps back for the main project. In that we are having node module. In that we are having what? Bootstrap icon, and there we have the font, and there we have bootstrap icons.css. That means the first step is going to be what? Download, install from that npm, and the second step is going to be what? Include in styles.css by using import statement, by using import statements. How we can include that? You can simply copy paste these two. Okay. So this is the approach that what we are following generally. Okay. This is that approach. And Shrikant, I wanted to right now, if I'm including that in styles.css, I can get only in which project? I can get only in which project? Data binding. Suppose Shrikant, in my workspace, I have 10 projects. I wanted to make use of the bootstrap in all the 10 places or 10 projects. I wanted to use same bootstrap version. Then for that reason, we have angular.json file is available. And in that angular.json file, what you can do is we have what we are having. Styles are there, and here you can include. Okay, generally that won't be happen. Any third party library that's specific to the project, because let's say in some project they are using bootstrap, some project they are using Angular Material UI, some project they are using SAS, some project people are using less. Because third party packages, we don't have any guarantee that that needs to be used in all the projects. Okay, that needs to be used in all the project. It is not that much important, right? So that is where if you wanted to maintain it globally, workspace level, go with angular.json, project level, style.css, or component level, go to the CSS file of your component, and then you can include there also. That's up to you. Clear na? Everyone is clear? Yes or no? Very good. That is how it is going to be. Now I integrated a bootstrap. Now I wanted to create a component. Now how to create the component? How to create the component? As I told you, your development should start from the app folder. Always your development should start from where? App folder. That is very important. Okay, that is very important to have. So for that reason, what I can do is, okay, for that reason, what I can do is, I'll right click on that app folder. Okay, open in integrated terminal. That what I can give. I'll right click on the app folder and open in the integrated terminal. Every day I'm doing the same. Yesterday, day before yesterday, 2 days I did the same. But in WhatsApp group, yesterday also somebody is asked the same question. That means where is the problem? I don't know exactly. So the first step is right click on that app folder, open in integrated terminal. Everything I can't give you in the notes. Some things you have to understand. If you are not understand, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can write the steps also. That is what we call it a running notes. Okay, running notes means it is not something whatever I have written over here. It's all about when I'm doing something which you are not clear, write down that and you can ask me maybe after the session. Okay, every day I'll give you like 5 minutes time. If you have any question, you can approach me and I can give you the solution. Okay, if you are not understand anything. Now you see, right now we are like, in PowerShell, but I don't want to go with that. I'll be using what? Normal command prompt. And now I wanted to create a component. So how to create a component? How to create a component? ng, G for generate, C for component, and what we are going to get, what we are going to create, some component. Let's have the component name is going to be, maybe let's say I'll be writing example component, or else let's say product component you can give. Product is the component that what I am giving. I don't want to have any specification files. Then very good. Hyphen, hyphen, skip, hyphen, test if I am giving. If I am not giving that, how many files it will create? How many files? 4 files. What are the files it create? One is HTML, TS file, CSS file, and then spec.ts file is created. That is specially used for what purpose? Unit testing. Okay, unit testing. Who will do the unit testing? Who will do? Not testers, developers. Okay, if testers will do, why it created, right? Yes or no? If testers will do, why it is created at the time of component creation? Unit testing will be done by the developer. Story testing, integration testing, regression testing, and UAT testing. Almost these 4 are going to be done by the testers. Okay, unit testing always done by yourself only, and for that we have the frameworks. But majorly, like, I can say 20% of that application, they follow the unit testing. Not even in Angular, even in Java, we have the unit testing frameworks are there. And in .NET also we have. In .NET, we have ng unit. NUnit is available. That is the one. And Java, I'm not sure. Anything, anyone know? Anyone knows? Don't know. Great, man. Unit testing in Java. So we have, like, the framework, unit testing of each and every individual component, and why unit testing, and some crucial servers and amount of testing. Right. Unit test tool. NUnit, JUnit, PHP unit, Parasoft, and Emma is the one. Okay, these are unit test frameworks. And coming to the .NET also, we have the same. NUnit is available, and also .NET related, another one is available. And the third one is going to be, we are having what? Angular. In Angular, we have what? Karma, Jasmine. Okay, we have Karma and Jasmine. That is the framework. There we can have it. I told you that at the end, I'll give some time, Prashant. Please note down in your notes, and then you can ask me at the end. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask me at the end. Right now, follow. Okay. Right. So that is where unit testing is important only. But I can say, like, we are doing, like, the unit testing manually. We are not using any framework, because it's like, take more time. And it really need, like, more efforts from the developer. That is the reason very less number of companies, they are following that much standard. Otherwise, like, you can go with manual testing only. That is where I am also giving less priority. Hardly I can say out of 100, 10 companies only they are following unit testing. That is the reason I'll explain you about the unit testing at the end. Right now, I don't want to generate anything where I can give ngg product. Now you see a product folder is created, and here what we are having, product dot component dot css and html, and then following with ts is available. Okay, right. Now what I just want to do is, let's say I'm going to take the TypeScript file here. I'm going to have a TypeScript file here, a simple TypeScript file that what I'm having. And here I'm going to have like, the product information. The first one is going to be, let's say the name of the product, which is of type string, is equal to, I can give the name as going to be, maybe iPhone is the one that what I have given. And after that, product price is going to be, which is of type number, is equal to, I am giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next one is going to be, I just wanted to have a product image is going to be, let's give a string over here. I'm going to get that image. I guess the image is available on the another project. Let us copy that. Copy and then paste it in your project. And we have like, that assets folder, and I'm going to have it. Okay. I'm going to have it. And where it is available under that assets folder, so that one step above, and we have the folder with the name assets. In that we have what? iPhone.jpg that we are having. iPhone.jpg, and then in stock that I can give, I'll be writing here it as going to be Boolean is equal to, I am writing true or false. Okay, this is what I have given. I have given like what? 4 things here. It's product name, price, image, and in stock is available. I'm giving these 4. So right now I wanted to execute this component. So how I can execute? Generally, like what are the steps needs to be followed? Create the component. Component is ready. Okay, still we have the development, but it's okay. The component is created. Now second step is going to be include the component in the module. Now I'll go to my app module. As we generated this particular component from the CLI, we need not to include it manually. It comes by default. Now what it is? Product component, which is already included. Now step number 3 is going to be bootstrap it, so that I'll copy that and then bootstrap it. Step number 4 is going to be, what is step number 4? Right. Use the selector of the component in which file? Index.html, so that I can go with index.html. I'll be removing this and then giving it over here. That's it. Now the last step is going to be execute the component. How do we execute the component? First go to the projects folder, and in that we are having our project with the name what? Data binding is the name, so that I can give data-binding is the name, and from here I'll run the command. What command has to be run? ng yes-o, and say okay, then automatically it will open in a default browser. It will open that in a default browser. Right. And meanwhile, someone asked me a question that, Shrikant, what is the import statement here? Right now, if you can see, node modules is the file, and the node modules you can see, we have like many libraries are available. Right? Yes or no? Even in, if you are a Java developer, we have like, by the JDK team. If you are a .NET developer, Microsoft has created lakhs of libraries, not even 1,000, lakhs of libraries that they have created. Same way, Angular team also, they have created framework level, many libraries for us. But are we going to use all the libraries? Tell me, are we going to use? What packages you are using in Java? Tell me. Maximum packages, tell me. We can use what? What packages? Maximum system is one, and after that utility dot something, IO related is the one. That means we are using very less, right? Even .NET people also, we are using what system is the one, system.diagnostic. If you are connecting with the database, system.data.sql client. So that means we have lakhs of library, but we are using only few, and that should be used it in the program, right? Yes or no? That should be used it in the program. That is what I am doing even here also. First thing what I can do, Bootstrap is not given by the Google team. It was given by what? Twitter. Twitter is the company. I hope you know the Twitter, right? Twitter company is provided the Bootstrap. Google is giving the Angular. React was given by the Facebook. Understand? So Twitter company is the third party company. It's not related to that Angular. So first thing, I'll download that file by connecting with their server. And once you download, then it comes and resides under the node modules of your project. Okay, node modules of your project. Now, once if it is available in node module, whenever it is required, I have to include that, right? Yes or no? So to include that, I'm using an import statement here. Import URL, I am specifying where my file is available, where the Bootstrap file is available. I'm specifying it over here. So how do I specify it over there? I'm using what? Generally, this is the, I guess this is what people are not understanding. I'm just explaining you one more time. Generally, you see, styles.css is available in which folder? App folder. One step above we are having src folder. One step above data binding folder. There you can find the node modules folder, right? That means we have to go back to around 3 steps above. Yes or no? 3 steps above. For that, what I can do? One step for src, another step for what? Projects, another step for what? Node module, and then I'll dig into the node module and search for the package that what we required and give that package. In that we have different folder. We have dist and css, and then we have the bootstrap.css. I'm including it over there. Okay, this is how we will be using the import statement. Prashant, are you clear now? Clear now? Okay. Right. Cool. So the next one is going to be, okay, fine. We are ready with one component, that is the product component, and this is done. Now I want to display that in my HTML. How I can do that? I'll go to my HTML page, and in the HTML, right now you see the product component works. That means it is working perfectly fine. That is what it shows me. Fine, that's good. Now I'll be removing this. I'll take a simple div tag where I'll be using, otherwise, okay, where I'll be using a h1 tag, or else like h1 is too big, I'll go with h2, and in that I'm writing data binding, or else let's say one-way data binding. One-way data binding is the heading that what I am giving. One-way data binding. Now here, what I want to do is I'm going to display the data the way how you want to display, you can. That's your wish. I'll be taking, let's say, a DL tag, and in that we have the DT. I'll be giving the first one. Otherwise, I will show you. Okay, first without using Bootstrap, I will show you. Later, I can show you with the Bootstrap how we can do the design part. I'm going with the DT. I'll be giving here. The first one is a name, price, image, stock. Okay, name, where I can say DD. How we can get it? Use the interpolation syntax and then copy the product name and giving it over here. And the second one is going to be DT, and then we are having, maybe I can say price. I'll be giving the DD, and here also I'll be using a product price over there. Okay, product price is available. I am giving it over there. Fine. I am displaying the data in a proper way. If you want, you can see that also. iPhone and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it visible to all? Tell me. Yes or no? Right, fine. I'm able to display it. Now I'm having a DT here. Okay, I'm having what? A DT. Suppose I wanted to display an image. Then images are displayed with the help of which tag? Image tag. So that in this image tag, I'm giving the image URL, or else what it is? Prod image. That is the product image. So that I can give the product image here, and I am giving some height and width also. Let me give height as going to be some around 150, and width as going to be some around 150 has to be given. Now you see, we will be displaying that image also. That is also perfectly fine. Now it's time for what? The another one, that is DT. Okay, the last one is going to be stock availability. Availability, that what I am using. Now here I am using DD. Now I have a requirement. I'm going to display the stock availability by using some checkbox. You know what is a checkbox, right? That means which will be giving true and false, nothing apart from that. Checkbox will give what? True and false value, so that I can use the same thing that what I have given, checkbox value. Now how I can do that one? Suppose let's say I'm going to give an input type as going to be checkbox, that what I can give. The time when I'm giving the checkbox, now you see, I'm able to see that one. Okay, but checkbox is having a value property. Value is equal to whatever the value we are having. I can get the value from here. In stock is the one, so that I can give it over there and saving it over here. But you see, is it working fine here? Is it working fine here? Tell me. No, obviously it is not working. Okay, Srikant, value property is not going to be helpful in this scenario. But you know, when I give, let's say, checked property we have. Checked is equal to, suppose when I'm giving true, when I'm giving true here, now you see, checkbox is checked or not? Yes or no? And then when I'm giving false here, now you see, here it is going to be, generally I'll be removing this value. Okay, I'll be removing this value when I say about the false, and then save it. Okay, now you see, it is not updated along with the value. That means we don't have any dynamic, and checked once if I'm giving it automatically checked. But even if you can give true or you can give false, by default it is going to be checked. But once if I remove this one, I'll be using this, and see, it is unchecked, right? But I want to check this based on the condition. Then how I can use it? As you said, if I'll be using checked is equal to, if I'm using in stock variable, because here we are getting true or false, right? Now you see, I'm giving in stock here. Am I able to see the result or not? Okay, fine. You are seeing the result, but you see, I made it as false and save it over here. Now you see, is it getting updated? No. That means there are two things here you need to understand. When it comes to one-way data binding, as I told you, we have two options. One is what? Interpolation. Second one is what? Attribute or property binding. When do we use which one? Whenever, if you wanted to display a direct HTML, or sorry, direct data as the HTML content, direct data as the HTML content, then you can use what? Interpolation syntax. The example is going to be, suppose let's say I have a H1. Okay, I am closing the H1, and within here I want to display something like welcome message. Now here, this is, I mean, I hope everyone knows about this, but I'm explaining one more time. This is the open tag, and here whatever you write, that is what we call it as content, and this is what we call it as a closing tag. Open tag will contain what? Attributes or not? Yes or no? ID is equal to something, and after that we are having name is equal to something. Yes or no? Right? And at the same time we have inner text is equal to something. So that means all these are what we call it as attributes, or else some people may call it as properties also. Understood? All these are what we call it as attributes and property. Now the requirement is going to be, whenever if you wanted to give a direct content to the HTML tags, that means here this is a direct content, right? Yes or no? Direct content to the HTML tag, the content which you will be placed inside that open bracket, I mean inside the open tag and closing tag, that is what we call it as a content, direct content. Then you can use that interpolation syntax. If you wanted to apply any value to that attribute, then go with attribute binding. That means here, suppose I wanted to give a dynamic value for my inner text property, then what I can do? I'll give a square bracket to that. I wanted to give a dynamic name for this property, then I can give the square bracket. Understood? The same way here also you see, when I go to my HTML, I have a src tag. Src is what? It is an attribute, right? Yes or no? It is an attribute. Attribute means that provides the additional behavior. It's an attribute. Now for this attribute, instead of going like in this syntax, what I can do? I am using an attribute based syntax, attribute binding. Then no need to give the double curly brackets over there. We can remove it. Still you see, we will be having the same output. Understood? Clear? When do we go for interpolation and when do we go for attribute binding? Interpolation means direct data you want to display within the HTML, then that is interpolation. And coming to the second one is what? Attribute binding. Whenever if you wanted to give any dynamic value for that attribute, there you can go with that one. Now the same thing I'll be applying for this checked also. When I give checked here and then removing this one, when I'm removing that and save this application, now you see, whenever if the value is going to be false here, is it selected? Tell me. No, but am I applied here the checked or not? That means dynamically it takes the value from the property. From the property here. Now you see, suppose Shrikant, if I'll be giving it as going to be true, then is it get selected? See there. Is it selected or not? Yes or no? That is what the difference between interpolation and the attribute binding. I'll write like that point as well. Let me write the point. So interpolation syntax, interpolation means what? This one. This syntax is used to display the data direct as the HTML content. Direct as the HTML content, if you wanted to display, there you can use the interpolation. Second one is what? Attribute binding. Attribute binding is available. Attribute binding, that is square bracket. This is this syntax. Otherwise, this syntax is used to display. Otherwise, is used to assign a dynamic value for the property of the HTML tags. That means if you wanted to assign a dynamic value, there you can go with that. Understood this one? Tell me. Clear na? Now that is what I have done over here. Now, apart from that, suppose let's say I just wanted to display something like stock. Okay, let's have some span tag here, and here I want to display the data. Then which one will be used here? Tell me. Inside the span tag, I want to display if the value is true, stock is available, value is false, unavailable. Like that I want to display. Then which syntax has to be given here? Which syntax? Interpolation or property binding? Interpolation, because we write straight away inside the HTML. This part what we call it as content, guys. If you wanted to display something here, go with interpolation. If you wanted to give any value here, then go with property binding or attribute binding. Anything is fine. Now I want to display based on that 1018. Okay, it's okay. Now what I can do? In stock, what is the property name? In stock, right? Suppose let's say I'll be writing in stock is equal to true. Then what I can do? I'm going to write something like give me 1 minute, please. Okay, I'll be writing something like available, else what I can do? Out of stock, that what I can write. Now what I am writing here, this is what we call it as a ternary statements. These are not new in Angular. In any program you can go, we have the ternary statement. Now what is the ternary statement will do is, suppose if the in stock value is going to be true, then it will display available, else it will display what? Out of stock. Now you see, when I come back here, now you see it is available. Suppose let's say I am writing something like, okay, here maybe I can say false value and save this one, and now you can see it is showing me as a out of stock. Clear na? Clear about these two? Any doubts here? No. Very good. Now I wanted to show you like how it would be once if I'll integrate the bootstrap. For that reason, what I can do is, I'll be taking a div, and for this I'm applying the bootstrap class. The first class that what I'm applying is going to be container fluid. Now tell me what difference you observed when I'm using the container fluid here. Save it and then just come back here. Did you find any difference here? Okay, I'll be using, let's say, container is the one that what I am using, and see, did you find any difference here? What is the difference? It gives you some space. Okay, some space over here. Earlier, like it was displayed exactly here, right? Yes or no? Container will provide you some margin. Now what it is going to be means, I hope like W3 schools, here you see the original content, you can find it here. Suppose if you can go, original content is available in the middle only, right? Left side and right side, it leaves some spaces or not. In order to get those kind of thing, there we can use the container. And then following with what I can do, I'm going to take a div over here, and every bootstrap is going to be having the rows. Every bootstrap will follow grid architecture. A grid is nothing but rows and columns, because every design part development, aligning the element is the challenging task. It doesn't matter that displaying that element in red color, green color, anybody can do. Align that element at a proper space is the challenging task for the developers, right? That is the reason what they are doing, they provided a grid architecture. According to the grid architecture, we have total, the complete application or the browser is divided into the rows. Each row will contain 12 columns, and based on your flexibility, you can divide. Now, I'm going to have like a single row, and I wanted to create the columns here. So class is equal to, I'll be giving 6 columns here. And after that, I'll be taking another div here. Let's say I'm taking like another div. I'm taking another div here. I'm sorry, not this one, this one. I'm taking another div here. I'll be taking a div where I'll be giving the class as going to be more 6. And here, this is second part. This is second part, and save it and then come back to that output. Now you can see the second part is taken from the next or not. But generally, if you are not using row approach, then what happen, if I don't have the row, then everything will comes on where? The left side only and one by one. Understand? As because I have taken, it comes something like this. Now what I want to do, I want to display a simple card. Bootstrap card I want to display. How I can do that? Just bootstrap cards that I can use. Bootstrap card. I'll go to the bootstrap cards here. Card is something like this, man. This is how it is going to be. Now, how do we do that? Simply copy and then paste it over there. Now, what it is expecting, you see there, we have like this. This is how it is going to be right now, that output. Now, in this place, we have to display that image. We have that image tag is there, right? And then here what I can do, I'm going to get the image from here so that I can copy and then paste it here, that image. Whatever that image is required, I can give it over there. And after that, I just wanted to have the title for that one. And title is going to be name of that image, that what I can say, I'll copy and then giving it over there. And if you wanted to give some text over here, you can give, but I don't want to give any text. Then click here. I'll be having something here and I am going to write, click here for more info. Okay. If you wanted to provide any kind of hyperlink, you can give. Now you see how the design is going to be. How much time it is taken for me? Hardly 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be adding like one more. Just this is margin top. Let's have 4 so that it comes a bit below. Top margin I'm giving, it come a bit below. Now you can see the look is good only here, right? Yes or no? That is how the real time practice. Because we all are humans, we are not remembering all the classes. If anyone wants to do a practice, I really appreciate. After Einstein, you only the maximum, the person who use main brain, more amount of your brain. Every person is having like, the brain size is like this, and we are utilizing hardly 10%, I guess, not more than that. What is the maximum? I didn't remember. What is the maximum? Einstein is the one, I guess, or else anyone. I guess there is one guy who used like, the brain more. If you remember all these bootstrap classes by your own, you will be the second person. Okay. If you want, you can. But generally, in real time, the practices are like that only. But don't do like, blindly copy paste. Learn at least like, the basic classes. Basic classes you can learn. Suppose here you see, I remembered couple of classes. I can say that I'm using it, but I am not remembering all the classes, but whatever it is required, I have that in my hand, definitely. Let's say margin is required for me. Immediately what I can do, MT2, I have given here, you can see MT4 I have given. Because I remembered, I used it much more so that I remember. I remember all these like not by reading, by practicing only. So that if you can start practicing, one by one, then it will be very easy, but it is not required to remember all. Don't worry about it. We have thousands of classes. You know the approach, then that is fine. If you know that approach, I copy pasted, and if I don't know the image tag, I can't apply that image here. If I don't know, let's say this title, okay, the H5 tag, I cannot apply this particular one over here, right? Yes or no? So that you can understand, that is important. Okay, you can get it and then customize based on your requirement. That is all. In real time, people call it as R&D, research and development. Okay, practically what it is, searching in Google. Simple terms, it is searching in Google. If somebody says what you are doing, I'm searching in Google, then the word is not good. But if somebody asks me what you're doing, I'm doing R&D, the word is too much weight, right? That is only the reason people are calling that R&D. R&D is nothing but doing search in Google only. Okay, and get it and customize it based on your requirement. That is all you guys need. Okay, improve your skill set towards that. That is very important. Not only here, even like in Java or .NET, anywhere, understanding is very important. Copying the data from the Google, identifying that is suitable or not. Okay, analyzing it, those are very important. So do that practice also. Okay, so this is all about what? Attribute binding and interpolation. Tomorrow I will show you how do we integrate event binding, and there are special cases also there. Okay, a slight difference between property and attribute binding. Both are syntax same. A slight difference is there. I'll explain you about that syntax tomorrow. And tomorrow we will see most probably two-way data binding as well. I'll cover that part also. Okay, that's it for the day. Thank you and have a nice day. I'll upload this maybe after an hour. Today it's work from home. I'll upload once I reach my home. That's it. Thank you and have a nice day. Any questions you have, please come fast. Otherwise, you may leave for the day. Class is HTML property. Tanu. Vamsi, that is HTML. Please go and ask the Google. We'll see that tomorrow. Sai. Bootstrap. Bootstrap is generally a library only. Library only. Yes, it is required. Radha Krishna will see that. Don't worry. Skip test. Automatic తర్వాత ఎన్జీ టెస్ట్ అనే కమాండ్ ఉంటుంది. అది రన్ చేసుకుంటే టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ మనం ఏదైతే రాస్తామో ఆ టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ అన్ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతాయి. కేసెస్ ఎలా రాయాలంటే చెప్తాను. క్లాస్లో లీస్ట్ ప్రయారిటీ. I'll take it as no questions. I'll leave for the day. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.